Hey guys, Yuli here again, and we are letting it all hang out. We are episode number 36. We've been on a pretty good run, 36 episodes, that's 36 weeks, that's about 6 months, maybe 5 months? 6 months. We're at 6 months of letting it all hang out, so this is a milestone for us. Today we have a little bit of a smaller group. We have a lot of people that are out of town and on holiday and doing other things. Tuesday's become a very popular day for other webinars. We've started a trend here, so glad to be a trendsetter. Anyway, so today we have Sandra Lemon. Sandra, how are you today?
I'm really good, Yuli, and how are you?
I'm doing really well. It's really early still for you, so I appreciate you getting up nice and early and setting your alarm for 4 a.m.
Yep, that's fine.
To make it out here.
In hand.
We also have Leslie Lawler. How are you today, Leslie?
I'm great, thank you. Absolutely fabulous. Just to let you know, Sandra, the weather has cooled down a little bit today. So it's no longer 80 degrees, it's about 60, so we're okay now.
That's a good temp. I like that.
Yeah, that's really good.
We've been having a fall-like week here this week, autumn, so it hasn't been perfect, but it's getting there. As long as it's not snowing, I'm happy.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep. And today we have Bruno Burgel joining us today. Bruno, how are you doing?
Hi, I'm fine.
Did I say your last name correctly? Bruegel?
Bruno Burgi.
Burgi.
Burgi, yes.
Burgi. And where are you from, Bruno? This is the first time on our Hangout, so where are you calling in from?
I'm calling in from Switzerland.
Wow. That's I think that might be a first. Is that our first Swiss Hangout caller?
Yes, I think it is.
I think
yeah.
So. Well, welcome to letting it all hang out. Bruno, everybody's kind of
me.
I'm sorry.
Thank you for inviting me.
Oh, no problem. Everybody's kind of been here a couple times, so we all know our story. Why don't you take a couple minutes and kind of let us know a little bit about you, a little background, where you're from, what you do, and how you got involved with internet marketing, and we'll start there. How's that?
Yes. As I mentioned, I live in Switzerland. I'm married. Next week we have our 25th wedding anniversary.
Woohoo!
And my professional background is in chemistry, and I'm still working in my job, but since last year I reduced my workload to 3.5 days in the job, and so I have a bit more time to build my online business. I joined SFM about 3 years ago when I was introduced to this industry through Daniel Wagner. He was at that time co-founder of SFM, and but at the beginning I had not so much time to do things because I was so busy with other things. And also one of the challenges I faced was, and still face a bit, I do this all in a foreign language because my native language is Swiss German, and I never lived in an English-speaking country. Everything learned in English in evening schools, and writing and listening is no problem for me, but speaking, because I do not have so much experience with speaking, except now in webinars and so on. Mm-hmm. And when I meet some of you in London for a Momentum Day, like
yes, we did.
the last time.
Well, you're speaking just fine, Bruno. We can understand. I can understand you just fine. So, nice job.
I work nearby on a daily basis to improve it, but there is still room to improvement. You realize it's a difference between a native speaker and then someone who's a foreign language speaker, I think.
Well, you're doing a fine job. So I guess that is a pretty big challenge to overcome, is getting that language barrier broken. I speak 2 languages as well, but my primary language is English, and I also speak fluent in Spanish, but it's it's hard. I'm trying to get more light in here. It was nice a second ago. Now it just got unsunny. But I have a hard time remembering Spanish unless I go back to like Miami or Mexico or Spain, and then I can speak it more fluently if I'm there a couple of days. But if I don't do it for a year or so, I get very broken. They call it Spanglish. So I speak a little bit of Spanish, English broken up, and kind of like my mother did the whole time we were growing up, trying to put the two things together. So, but that's a perfect segue for what we're talking about today. Today we're talking about challenges that we face in our business. Now, these could be challenges, external challenges, things that we have to overcome, and we're going to talk about some of those challenges today, about what we have come, what challenges we've approached and had to overcome, and how we've done that. And there's also the self-imposed challenge, and we're big on that in the Six Figure Mentors, and we've got a couple of challenges that we've done in the past, and we're working on a couple new ones as we go. And we just lost Sandra. She just disappeared, and she's back. So we want to talk about self-imposed challenges, which are basically used to help you promote your business, grow your business, and grow yourself. So that's our topic today: is challenges in your business, self-imposed and external. And Bruno, you said you had problems with getting, one of your biggest challenges was getting that language barrier, breaking that language barrier, which kept you from speaking and doing things online and on camera. Or are you making videos and stuff on camera?
In the meantime, I make videos. I'm also on the 90 days video challenge, but with some interruptions because sometimes life is busy and then you have to set priorities. But although I made a break in publishing videos, I still recorded videos. So I have still a couple of videos to prepare to upload. But now yes, over time, the more I do videos, the better it gets with speaking in front of the camera.
Yeah, absolutely. How long have you been working on your English? I mean, has it been a long time, or?
Actually, it started back, I think about 30 years ago. I started first time with English, but then all the time with interruption. And what brought me, what made when I made the most progress in English, especially in speaking, is when I attended some seminars in London. So then I was forced to speak. Reading was no problem for me since years, but the speaking part, that was the real challenge. And writing also sometimes a bit problem with grammar, but more or less it's okay. But the speaking was a huge challenge, especially when I attended seminars, when I had to speak to people, and all people around me were only people from England, so I had no chance to speak in another language. And yes, that helped me a lot to overcome the fear of speaking.
You seem to be doing fine. I mean, I'm impressed if that's what your big challenge is. I mean, that's one of the things that you're coming through and overcoming, and you're doing it the right way. You're actually challenging yourself to go out and surround yourself with people that only speak English. So you have no choice. You have to go ahead and learn that skill a little bit better. So, and it's only going to get better as you go. So yes, congratulations. That's great. Leslie, what challenges have you faced, not self-imposed, but what external challenges have you faced that you've had to overcome while starting your business, getting going, and being where you are today?
What external did you say?
Yeah, external stuff that you had to overcome, not necessarily self-imposed, like the video challenge and stuff like that.
Oh, well, to be very honest, I think it's all been a challenge for me from day one. But as far as I'm concerned, what you have to do is you know, you hit these challenges head on. I think possibly the video challenge for me was a difficult one, and one I didn't complete. So I've got to admit that. And the reason I didn't complete it is because I hate doing them. I hate them. And as much as, you know, they say, well, if you don't like it, you still got to do it. Well, fine, but I hated it with a vengeance. That even if I chose to do it in the morning, it wouldn't make any difference. I hated it whatever time I was doing to do it. So I decided that I'm not going to stress myself out about it anymore. I'm not doing it. That's it. That was my decision. I'm not doing that. It's not going to affect my life in a huge way at this moment in time. And until I sort of build the confidence back up again to actually do that, whereas I have actually been practicing on my iPad, to be fair, so that it's just there and I can just sit in front of it instead of holding a camera. And I don't know. I just didn't like it. So it was a challenge that I didn't complete, and I really, at the beginning, I did think I was going to complete it. I thought I was going to be okay. But I think it was after a couple of, I did about 16. And it just, it became a nightmare. So unfortunately, I didn't overcome that challenge.
What was your biggest what was your biggest blocker there? I mean, because you do these hangouts really well, and it's kind of the same thing. You're on video, and you're pretty involved, and you're very engaging. So it's obviously not the camera work. Is it coming up with topics or coming up with content? Was the big struggle for you?
It is the camera work. It really is. I hate seeing myself on video. I really, really hate it. The reason I keep doing what I'm doing now is because there isn't just me on my own, so I can talk to people. There's actually somebody there. And I know it'll just get better, and it has got easier. I don't get as uptight. I don't get as worried about doing it. You know, Jade will say, "Are you free tonight?" And I'll go, "Am I?" And she'll say, "Yes." So that's the way we play it. So, and I could make any excuse under the sun not to do this because it feels uncomfortable. It's not natural. We're not used to doing it. I've only been doing it, you know, a couple of months. So it is a little bit uncomfortable for me, but it's a challenge for me. That is something I am prepared to do. And I feel also the focus isn't solely on me, whereas the 90-day challenge, the focus is solely on the person. And I was just getting tongue-tied, and I'd prepare for hours what I was going to do, and then it'd go all wrong. So, it really is. I just can't hold that camera there and look at myself. I really just feel so uncomfortable doing it. So, and one day I know I'll overcome that because this is helping as well. So that's something that, you know, and also, you know, you have to challenge yourself every day to do certain things within your own business. You know, coming up with new content for your own business. I find that quite challenging to do on a daily basis. But we all have to do it. That's what it's all about. Maybe read a book or something like that. I do a lot of reading. I do a lot of read a lot of books on self-improvement. So it makes me feel, you know, I'll get my confidence back, if you know what I mean.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, I think that you have to, I think it was Eleanor Roosevelt that said you should do something every day that scares the living crap out of you. And
Yeah.
for you, it seems like, I mean, for me, I can go on front of a video and as long as I have something to say, I can put myself in front of a video and talk as long as I want. And it's not because I'm overly confident. I don't really, my job is just to make the video. What happens on the other side of that isn't my job. That's not up to me. So it doesn't matter if I know I have to do them in order to be the person I want to become in order to be successful at what I'm doing. So I do them anyway, and regardless of what happens after I put them out on the internet, I just know I have to do it. And it scares me, and I still get nervous, and I still do 50 takes sometimes on a video, but I got to do it. So yeah, I do things, and you're outside your comfort zone, and that's another way to grow and help yourself improve. Like you talk about self-improvement books, that's a big thing, is doing things that make you uncomfortable, because if you stay in your comfort zone for too long, you end up just being the same person. You never grow and you never change, and that's the whole point of this whole evolution and journey, is to change and grow into the person you need to become in order to be the person you want to be. So
yeah,
but keep working on it, and it's going to work out, and keep doing these. I mean, don't stop doing these, and
I mean, I have actually, well, Jade and I should say, I've actually just taken Stuart up on his 30-day challenge. And, I did say to Jade, can we do this? Because I don't want to be doing a challenge if we're not going to accomplish it. We've both got to know that we've got to do this. And, it takes some commitment at the end of the day. And I do tend to beat myself up a little bit. So I was getting a little bit anxious today, thinking about, can we do this? Can we do this challenge? And we've really got to do this, and we've got to do that. And I think Jade takes everything in her stride. She's very, very laid back. Whereas I'm, more emotional, and like I'm trying to get Jade to say, yes, Mum, of course we can do it. And she's just like, yeah, we'll do it. And I want somebody that jumps up and down and says, yeah, we can do it. That's not Jade. He never probably will be, but yeah, we've decided to go ahead and do the 30-day challenge with Stuart. On the he's doing the elite webinars, where he's only just started the one last week, so we're going to be following that program for 30 days. So. Yes, so here's to the challenge. I've actually announced it now, haven't I? So I've got to go through.
Got no choice now. Yeah, well, you've got your content for today. You can just post this Hangout and send it to your list, and you could use this as your content for today anyway.
Yeah.
Or you can actually, another thing you could do with these Hangouts that are great, you can actually break them up into different sections and send them out and then you have a couple days of content there, which works well for this challenge. So.
That's right.
You're working on it right now, so you're going to do it. You're going to be fine.
Well, that's right. We started working on it yesterday, but we hadn't sort of decided to do it. And I said, are you sure we're going to be able to do this? It's 30 days of commitment, and I've had a really, really very difficult week. And then towards the end of the week, it got even worse. So it has been, last week was a very challenging week. This week, actually, up to now, I know it's only Tuesday, but it's been quite calm. So, yeah.
It'll only get better.
Yeah, of course it will.
Sandy, you've been sitting there patiently as we mumble and jamble over here, and I know you've been at this for quite a while. You've been marketing for several years. I think you've probably been marketing longer than everybody on this panel, maybe except for Bruno. I don't know if you guys are about the same time frame or not. What are some of the challenges that you had to overcome when you first started, and even today, just external challenges that you came upon that might help any of the viewers out if they hit them same blockade, same obstacles, and same challenges?
Okay. External challenges are pretty much the same as what a lot of people are going to hit. Okay. They're going to come, they're going to come across something and they're going to look at it and they're going to go, online business, I should be able to do that. And that's mainly because of the copy and the way that online businesses are sold, where you don't need to ingest time. You can automate it, fully automated business. But what nobody tells the poor newcomer is there's a lot of processes you have to learn behind that automation so you can actually automate your business. And a lot of newbies, a lot of people who've never ever been online, never marketed online, don't know anything about running a business online, wouldn't have the vaguest idea what an autoresponder is. And that's one of the first steps of setting up your automation of your business. Just the external challenges like that, learning what an autoresponder is, learning how to set it up so you can automate the email side of your business so you're not going to a personal email box and, finding all the people that are interested in what you have to, what product you have to offer, what service you have to offer, what value you have to give, and separately emailing them or putting them all into a list. So learning an autoresponder straight off the bat, so you can automate, an email side of your business because you're going to be building a list, that's a challenge. So, it's going to be the same for everyone who comes online who's never done any business online as far as marketing a business. It's just, setting up a website, buying a domain name, learning about hosting, autoresponders, standard things. Now, there are several ways you can do that. You can do it on your own and just Google every separate thing and learn how to do every separate thing within itself. Long process. Or you can be like me and you can go, well, I don't really like challenges anyway. I've never been a person who enjoys challenges, and I think people who actually, put these extra challenges on themselves are insane. Because I do, I guess I've always been a bit of a lazy person, even at school, when the teachers would talk about the school carnival and they'd say, you have to challenge yourself. I'd be sitting back going, but why do I need to challenge myself? I don't want to run around a dusty track anyway. I think you're mad. And I'd find ways to get out of the challenge, even if it was standing there crossing my arms and pouting at everybody going, I'm not doing it. Because I personally feel that life presents you with enough challenges every single day. Now, whether you're single, whether you're married, whether you have a family, you have challenges in life. You have personal challenge in life. Personal challenge is to bring in an income so that you can pay for the roof over your head and pay the government the amount of taxes that they want. That's a big enough challenge in itself because, although we call them governments now, they're very much like the old royal regimes, when they want something, they come to you, they knock on your door and they say, give it to us or we're going to throw you in jail. So nothing's really changed. We just added nice flowery terms to it and made it, everyone think that it's all, different. But, if you study history, it's pretty much the same. So, that's a challenge for everybody as it is. And then, then society has taught everybody to focus on money. So everybody has this whole idea of money in their head. You have to have money, more money, more money, more money. More money will make life better. And so then the word money becomes a challenge to people. And then that starts to encroach on people's relationships, on their family lives. And you see the breakdown, just ripple through society. So the standard challenges you're going to have on top of your already challenged life is, if you've never been online, is learning the process, learning the automation, which is autoresponders, learning about websites, learning about domain names, learning how to write copy, learning social media so you can engage with people, so you can have conversations with people and get yourself out there. Social media is one of the quickest ways to get your stuff viral if you know how to network. So these are the things you're going to learn. So, me, because I'm lazy and I don't like to do too much work, the first thing I did when I came online in 2012 was I thought, okay, now I need some way to drive this where I can learn to do all of this without having to search it separately, even though I'm a great researcher and I can find just about anything you want online. I didn't want to have to go through that process. I wanted it easy, and that's how I came across the Six Figure Mentors and the DEA Academy. Well, back then it was just the Six Figure Mentors for me. And I had looked at all their tools and all their training and education offerings, and I said, bam, that's exactly what I need. That's what I need to help me market a business online. I need a company like this who can take me on, who can train me, who have mentors, who have other business people in the community, who have people already doing it. And so I joined the Six. It was a no-brainer for me. It was like they had the whole package all rolled into one. And that's what I did. And I alleviated a lot of the challenges. However, you know, I know that there are internal challenges, which I will talk about later.
So your big challenge is learning the skill. You know, your $1 million skill is what Mike Dillard talks about when he talks about business building, is learning that $1 million skill, that one skill that's going to propel you to the next level in your business. And yours was learning how to take your business onto the internet and learning all the processes and procedures that you need to do in order to do all that. So you took on a big chunk all at once. So you do like challenges, apparently. You didn't even know it.
Not really.
Like I understand what you're saying about challenges. And
click my fingers,
ahead, I'm sorry.
I'd be happy. If I could click my fingers and make it happen, that would be great. But unfortunately, there's a process for everything. There's a way you have to do everything, and you can either do it the hard way and buy 1,000,001 little programs, or you can just look for somebody who handles the whole big chunk, and that's what I did.
Yeah, that's one of the biggest benefits of the Six-Figure Mentor. It's just a all-in-one product suite. It's got all the tools, all the resources, all the education, all the trainings that you need in order to do what you wanted to do. And what most people want to do when they get on the internet is learn and grow and build their business. So another thing, and I get your point about challenges. Life definitely has enough challenges. So when we throw on a self-imposed challenge, I think like in the 90-day video challenge, which I did not do only because I was doing videos anyway, and I try to do enough videos, and I don't know if I had the time to commit to that. But I am doing the new 30-day blogging and broadcast challenge, and I think the way it's designed to affect you is it's not so much to be its challenge, it's to develop a new habit, and the habit is to create content and broadcast. It's your money-producing activities that you're trying to get away from all the other shiny ball things and spending too much time doing this and screwing around on Facebook. I think Stuart is trying to process or make this process as systematic as possible, to go in there and say, all right, this is what you have to do. You have to create content, write a blog post, send it to your email list, get leads. So he's pointing out 3 habits that we really need to concentrate on. Number 1 is get 10 leads a day minimum. Number 2 is create some sort of content and post it on your blog. And number 3 is send your email broadcast or send your email list of subscribers a broadcast to let them know that you've just done those things, or that you've just posted something or something else. Give them a call to action, or just kind of tell a story. And those are 3 of what he believes to be the most effective and the most common money-producing activities that he can think of in order to get you to the next level of business. And I can definitely see the thought process there, because I sometimes struggle with figuring out what to do. Like I would get home from work, because I do work a full-time job. I would get home from work, and then now what am I doing? And I'm scrolling around on Facebook thinking, oh, I'm working, but I'm not. I'm just wasting time. So I think this is going to help me develop some good skills and some good planning, and something that I can plan in the future as well. Like next weekend I have a race, and if I have to do a video on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, I'm going to have to plan to do those prior to that so I can schedule to post them automatically, which is another beautiful thing about having an online business. Everything can be automated. Mm-hmm. So I think we're trying to create habits, and that's a big point of external or self-imposed challenges, is to help you develop a new habit. Like if you smoke, you challenge yourself to quit smoking. I forgot whose video I watched yesterday, and they're doing both. They're quitting smoking, and they're doing a 30-day challenge. So I don't know how his videos are going to turn out. So he's probably going to be angry a lot.
Yeah.
And I forgot who it was. And I watched the video, and it makes sense to try to do both at the same time. But I think what we're trying to do is create new habits. And same thing with the 90-day video challenge is doing the, getting a habit done and getting you more comfortable. Like Leslie was saying, she's very uncomfortable talking to herself in a camera, where I'm extremely comfortable just because nobody wants to talk to me anyway. So I just found a way to talk to a camera. And that's teaching you that habit of creating things and doing that on a daily basis. So I'm all for it. I don't take on every challenge, but there are some good ones. Like today I was at CrossFit, and I did the same workout as everybody else, except I put on a weight vest while I did it. Why? I don't know. To see if I could do it, to see how much harder it was going to be. But I challenged myself to do it, and I did it. And after 5 rounds, I wanted to take it off. but I knew that if I took it off, I would just be mad at myself. So it took me longer than everybody else, but I did the whole thing with an extra 20-pound weight vest on. So that's a challenge I committed to, and only because I did commit, I finished it. And I know that if I took it off, if I didn't set that challenge, I would have just taken it off midway and be like, that's fine. So I did not.
You see, you're a challenge gremlin. If you see a challenge, man, you just take up that podium and like, I'm in. I'm gonna do this. You just like you thrive on it. You know, you're sort of a lot like those physical adrenaline junkies. Yeah, where everything you see them do is just like adrenaline stuff. And I mean, they're all challenges that those guys have set for themselves. And I mean, if you're that way inclined, that's really great. And I say to people, you know, go for it. If you are that type of person, go for it. That is your skill. That is your gift. That is your magic that you can offer the rest of the world. Because personally, I love sitting in my lounge room or on my office chair watching your videos that you're posting of yourself jumping off a building, you know, with just a parachute. I love watching you do that. I think that's fantastic. Would I ever challenge myself to do that? No. No, because, you know, because I mean, I'd be thinking of things like, now, if I even bothered to challenge myself to do that, one, I'd wake up and it'd probably be raining and I'd just go back to bed. Two, when I got there, the lift probably wouldn't work and I have to walk up the stairs. I can't stand stairs, so I mean, I'm just
very negative, Sandra.
I'm just not a challenge person in that way. Like, I mean, I haven't done a lot of the other challenges that you guys have done as far as the 90-day video challenge. I was like, well, I don't see what benefit that can offer me in my business. I don't see what that's going to do for me in my business, because if I start putting myself on video in front of people every day and I start, you know, having verbal diarrhea, you know, I may go viral for all the wrong reasons.
That's a good point. That's a great point. So Bruno, what do you think about the challenges? Are you doing the 30-day blogging broadcast challenge? Are you elite?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
And that's especially when I work, it's a challenge to do all this work. The good thing is the next 2 weeks I have holidays, because the company I work for is closed for 2 weeks. All have to take holidays. And this week I'm at home. My wife is still working because she's very busy in her company at the moment. But next week we plan to go on a week away, and so therefore I have to prepare all the bloggings and broadcasting in advance, because what we plan for next week is to go hiking in the mountains. So from one place to the next place, so I don't take the laptop with me.
Yeah.
And from the writing a blog post on the iPhone, it's a bit difficult.
Yeah. Well, what you can do is, I mean, not that you should do this or not, but what you can do is just, if you're doing videos, you can just do them on your phone and post them right to Facebook. Yeah. And then just send a broadcast to, you know, if you're going to send an email, send them to that video. I mean, you can embed that video, or you can do whatever you want with that video. I mean, that would be a simple solution, so you don't have to do everything right now.
I try to prepare as much as possible. But when the weather isn't better, then we don't go hiking next week, because at the moment we have really terrible weather, a lot of rain and snow in the mountains. And it looks not so good in the next. I had seen the forecast until Sunday, and it's not changing this moment. So maybe we have to look for something else to go away for next week.
Yeah, you'll definitely figure it out. I mean, that's what we do when we commit to things. We figure things out for sure.
Yes.
Absolutely.
But I definitely plan to do all the work in advance now.
Yeah.
To also get into a habit to get things done before it's time to do it. That's also something new.
Yeah, it's another skill you have to learn, is how to do all that automating and getting that through the system. And I have a hard time automating blog posts. I don't even know how to work that scheduler in WordPress. But I guess I'm going to have to figure it out, or just sneak away from my bike race at some point and hit the send button is what I'm going to do. Leslie, what other challenges have you run into other than that video challenge? What other challenges have you run into starting your online business, you know, and get that anybody that's listening right now could pay attention to or figure out, and you would help them get through that same thing? Because I think a lot of us marketers do the same thing over and over again, and that's a problem because we're not that we do the same mistakes ourselves, but we're making the same mistakes that other people have already made. Mm-hmm. And that's no way to learn, and that's why people aren't progressing as fast, and that's the reason why a lot of people quit, because they can't figure something out. When someone's already done that, you know, take advice from them and then see what you can do. So that's the whole point of these Hangouts, is to help people get through the challenge that we've already gotten through without the headaches and all that other stuff. So what other challenges have you run into as far as getting through your business?
Well, initially, I think when you first start, I think there's obviously that's a huge challenge in itself, because you don't know what you're doing. All you've got to do, I think, at that point, that's all we did, was have a bit of faith at that time, because we didn't have a clue what this was all about. It was totally something new to us. We'd never heard about it before, so we didn't even know. We'd heard of blogs, but I didn't even know really what a blog was. I didn't know what a Hangout was, a webinar was. I think I've told this story time and time again about the first mastermind I went on with Guy and Ilan, and I may as well have not been there because they were just talking a foreign language to me. And I can remember saying to Jay the next day, she was working, and I said to her the next day, well, that was a complete waste of time. I said, I don't think we'll ever be able to do this. I said, I haven't got a clue what they're on about. They're just speaking in a foreign language. And it's strange, isn't it, that, you know, a few months down the line, and then you start understanding the language in which they speak. And I think, you know, that was a huge challenge for me at the beginning, trying to figure everything out. You know, and I'm a Pisces, and I tend to, you know, everything's got to be perfect for me. I've got to understand it all. I put myself under enormous amounts of pressure to understand everything and know it all, and I should be doing this, and I know, and why can't I remember these sort of things? But it's persistence with this business. No matter what challenge that you have or you come across, excuse me, it's persistence. Unless you want to give up, and that's the challenge that I won't give up on, is that I would never give this up, because this is a huge challenge. Even today, when Jade and I were planning out what we were doing this week on the broadcast and the blogging, what we were doing and where we're up to, we're already up to Friday already on the broadcast, so that's really good. But even then, I could feel myself getting a bit of overwhelm, because, you know, there's this to listen to, there's that to listen to, and I said to her, I can't do this. I can only do one or two things. I can't do all that, because, you know, at the end of the day, I have a job looking after my dad, and sometimes I don't feel like I'm doing my job very well at the moment. So that runs in the back of my mind, that I only want to spend a certain amount of time doing things. So I have to learn to get good at those things, knowing where to find the content, and that's one thing that I'm going to sort of concentrate on. As Stuart was saying, you know, choose one thing that you're going to do, instead of, you know, we are a little bit guilty of flitting back into, oh, we'll do this. And like you said before, Yuli, about you go on Facebook, you know, and we put a few things on there and we think we're working. You know, we're all guilty of it. Or I would say probably 80% of people are probably guilty of it, getting sidetracked. oh, I'll just have a look at that. And it's not that it isn't relevant to work, to what we're doing. It is, but there's so much that comes in. You really need to be quite focused and disciplined again on choosing one or two things that you're going to concentrate on and stick with them. That's what I would say.
Yeah, and that's a big part of this whole challenge, is like we were talking about before, is creating good habits of what you should be doing. Not, you know, and then like Stuart said in his elite webinar, and once you're done with all that stuff, then go screw around on Facebook, then go watch a seminar, then go watch a webinar, then go spend 2 hours watching a video on something else. But in the meantime, do the money producing activities, make that habitual, make it to where you're at 6 o'clock I'm doing this, at 7 o'clock I'm doing this, at 8 o'clock I'm doing this, and then you can do whatever you want after that. And I think that makes a huge difference in the way you run your business, and the engagement and the return on investment of your time that you get from your business is doing those things that really that are money producing and actually have some effect on your, like learning is great and getting training is great, but you can get stuck in that overload, like you were saying, an overwhelm, where all you're doing is you're in training mode and you're in student mode and you're never in money-making mode. And a lot of people just get, I'm totally guilty of that. I'll buy every program in the book just to learn something new, but what I end up doing with that information is just recirculating it and then making it content. So it's good to have more information, but if it's going to drag, you know, take 2 hours, 3 hours of your day, and you only have 3 or 4 hours a day to commit to your business, then you're really doing the wrong things.
That's right.
Yeah. That stuff.
This is really interesting to hear you guys talking about taking up Stuart's 30-day challenge. It's interesting to me in a way, because when I first became a student with the Six Figure Mentors back in 2012, you know, in the first couple of modules, training modules, Stuart actually had a challenge. It was the 60-day blogging challenge, and you could join that challenge. You didn't have to join it, you didn't have to finish it, but the whole point behind the challenge was, the philosophy behind that was, okay, you're new, you're online, nobody knows who you are, you're not a celebrity, so there's no reason why somebody would click on your website, there's no reason why somebody would read your blog, there's no reason why anybody would really care about what you've got to say, because nobody knows who you are. And back then, one of the easiest ways to get your site ranked in the search engines, SEO, search engine optimization, was to get regular content on there on a daily basis. So it was 60 days. I took up, I didn't like publicly announce it to anyone in the Six Figure Mentors, but I thought, well, that makes sense. And so I took up that challenge. And although I already had one other blog site that I was putting content on, I then had 2 SFM sites that I needed to get content on. And I sort of thought to myself, well, okay, I'm not going to do 60 days worth of content on 3 freaking sites. And I said, I'm too lazy for that. Pick one and do it. So I picked one, and I went ahead with the philosophy behind, the more content you get out there, you know, the more you'll get picked up by the search engines, the more people will recognize you as being an authority figure in your field of what you're talking about, okay? So, you know, I learned that particular thing very early on in the piece, and for the last couple of months now, I've been mentoring and talking to our Down Under group here in Australia. Our Australian members, we have a Thursday night webinar, and yeah, for the last couple of months, because a lot of them have hit struggles, and this is why I say self-imposed challenges can sometimes be a bad thing in a collective group. And the reason I say that is because as a collective group, you get a lot of people who are at a different level in their business, and they take on these self-imposed challenges. Now, they may be at a level in their business to be able to do that self-imposed challenge. However, a lot of new members, like new people who are at a different level in their business, who are a part of the same community, see all these people doing this self-imposed challenge, like, you know, the 90-day video challenge, and then another self-imposed challenge comes out, and they see all these more experienced people who are able to take on that challenge at their level in their business, doing this, and they automatically think that they have to do it. And just this week, we had a member who had a meltdown. I mean, she had a public meltdown in our group because she had taken on all these self-imposed challenges, and she's not that far into her business. She hasn't been doing this long enough for her to have so many self-imposed challenges on herself, and she actually had a meltdown on camera. And I mean, you know, I was in tears watching her video because I thought, oh my goodness, you know, we're going to lose a really bright spark who has a lot to offer people, because she's got too much happening in life. She's married, she's got kids, so you know, there's some big challenges to begin with. You know, young kids, wife, she's got a husband, she's got a family to take care of, and yet she's come into this business thinking that she's going to, and she's taken on all these extra self-imposed challenges, having a meltdown. So I've been teaching them over the past few months, avoid overwhelm, avoid self-imposed overwhelm. If you place self-imposed overwhelm on yourself with the challenges that you already have, you're heading for disaster. You're going to become unproductive, you're going to think that you're not getting anywhere, and you're just going to think that you're failing. And that's why I don't like people pushing self-imposed challenges all the time as the best thing to do, because it can create the wrong mindset and thought process in people who aren't ready for those self-imposed challenges. But I've been teaching people for the last few months that exact thing, and a lot of them were struggling with the websites and trying to get them ranked. So I showed them a good plugin that they could use that was free for their WordPress website, that does SEO and a lot of other things. And now I've been teaching them search engine optimization. And you know, and I've been saying to them, you know, the key to your SEO, the first step to your SEO, the biggest key to your SEO and getting your authority site out there is have a look at your website. Ask yourself what direction you want to take your business, what value can you give and do you want to give to the people who are going to come to your website? What type of people are going to use that information and enjoy that content and read that content? Then focus on a subject. Pick a subject heading and then break that up into small blogs and do one a day. If you can't get one a day in, at least get one every second day, because that's the first thing that you can do for your SEO before you even worry about keywords or anything else like that. At least get content on your blog. And you know, because I do mine on a monthly basis. I pick a subject for the month, and all my blogs are about that subject, and they all have very similar keywords. So for a whole month, I'm actually ranking my blog for a particular catchphrase or keyword, and all my blogs are pertaining to that keyword, that subject. And then the next month I may have another subject, and I will stick with that one subject for a month, and I will write blogs about that one subject. And so I'm basically helping them break it down into micro bits. And I'm trying to teach them what Stuart taught me when I first started, and that was to get yourself out there and build momentum. You really need to focus on your authority website and get your content on there. And so, you know, I think this 30-day challenge is fantastic, but I would like to reiterate for new members who are starting something like this, who are imposing this on themselves, you may not have a list to broadcast to. So if you don't have a list to broadcast to, just chop that out of the challenge and focus on the other part of the challenge, getting your content on your website, because that's how you're going to initially build your list, is by drawing people in to read your content and signing up into your sign-up form. So, you know, I mean, that's what I see about self-imposed challenges. Sometimes I think people get a little bit gung-ho, everybody gets wound up in the moment, and they don't notice that there are some people around them who are really, really suffering and struggling with overwhelm. And overwhelm can be a form of stress that can really, really cripple a person's business, and it can even cripple their life, and it can knock them out altogether of, you know, even building a better future.
Yeah, that's a great point. There's a lot of people out there that would take that challenge even though they're not ready to do it. Like I know a lot of people, just like you would in athletics, let's say. Like I know a lot of people that are like, oh, I'm going to do a 10K next week. I'm going to challenge myself to train for a 10K. I'm like, what was the last thing you ran? It's like, oh, I ran around the block the other day. I'm like, well, are you ready to run the 10K? So you have to know your limits, definitely, and that's a great point, because if you don't, you get overwhelmed and you get stressed out, because even like Leslie said, you can't keep up. You're not there yet. You're not there in your journey yet. So you want to do it because you want to be like everybody else. You want to put yourself in that same growth spurt that everyone else is going to potentially achieve through committing to a challenge. But if you're not ready, you're almost shooting yourself in your foot, like you said. You don't have the sustenance, you don't have the list, you don't have the time, you don't have you don't have the skill level yet, or the knowledge to create 30 days of straight content. And then you don't have a list to broadcast to. So yeah, you definitely have to know your own limits. And like you said, if you can totally take that challenge, but just do the blogging, or just do something else that kind of don't actually get in there, because I think there were some pretty strict criteria with this specific challenge. Stuart wanted people to be serious about it, and if you couldn't commit, then don't. No big deal, no hard feelings. He just wanted a smaller group to people he can talk to on a daily basis and get things going. So yeah, if you're in that position where you just can't commit to that specific challenge, then you're right. Back off. Do what you know what to do. Concentrate on what you can concentrate on. Get that going, and maybe next time, or it doesn't have to be it's not a contest. He's not giving a prize away at the end. There doesn't have to be. You could do it later when you're ready. Do it 2 months down the road. Take it upon yourself to challenge yourself to do that and commit to doing that for 30 days. But you don't necessarily have to do it with the group, because that does put pressure on you. So
yeah. I totally agree with Sandra. I'm really glad that she brought that subject up, because in actual fact, I sometimes can feel like that, a bit of overwhelm, trying to do a bit of everything. And when you're actually caring for somebody, it's very difficult to sort of get the momentum going sometimes. And then we were offered another opportunity the other day, and I said to Jade that it's impossible for me to do both. I can't, at this moment in my life where I am, I cannot do both, because I have, I care a lot about the quality of life that my dad has, and I like to take him out, and I like to do things with him, not just sit in the house doing work, because he's important. He's not going to be here forever, and I want to make the last years or months of his life the nicest that he could be. And I do find that a challenge sometimes to try and cope with that situation and take on these other challenges. And that's why I said to Jade, we either do this one or this one. I could not possibly commit to doing both, not at this moment in time. If you are full-time at this and you've got nothing else to do, then hey, I think that's fine. If it's okay and you feel okay with that, if you've got absolutely nothing else to do. But when you have got something else to do, to be honest, I think one challenge is quite enough. So you're quite right, Sandra. I do agree with what you said about the overwhelm, because sometimes, like I said earlier, sometimes I feel a little bit overwhelmed with various challenges that are going on, and I just think, why did I do that? Why did I join that one? And you join on a whim, and then I'm thinking, I can't commit to this because I can't. And that's why I discussed it with Jade, whether we can commit to 30 days. It says, I'm not starting this unless we can commit, but this is the only thing I am committing to. So
yeah. That's great that you're focused on your priorities and what you know. I mean, you know your limits, and that's a perfect way to kind of round off what the challenges are about. I mean, you can't take on every challenge. It's impossible. But I know a lot of people out there will do it. They will take on every single challenge just to be like, all right, I can do it. And I see it a lot on these like fitness companies and health and wellness companies where a lot of them will do 90-day challenges every 90 days, and everyone's doing them, and they're all over the place. They're like body challenges and this challenge and this and this and this. I'm like, these people must have nothing else to do but do challenges, and they do them. I mean, more power to them, but I don't think I could do that all. I mean, you're right. I self-impose challenges on myself like that. I'm going to go on a long bike ride today. I mean, that's a challenge. I'm going to do it. I'm going to talk myself into it. I'll probably talk myself out of it, but I'll still do it. It's just, yeah, you're right. There's so many things that we can be doing to do it right. I agree with some of these challenges, like the one we're doing now. I think it's important for me where I am in my business because I think I need to learn those skills and hone those skills in and schedule them and make them to where, all right, I'm set in stone. This is what I'm doing today. Boom, boom, boom. And if those are the things that are going to propel my business, and those are the things I'm going to do. But I'm ready in my journey to do that. I'm ready to commit to that. So I'm excited about that. Bruno, what do you think about overwhelm? Do you get overwhelmed sometimes doing too many things at once? I know you got your family and you got your job and now you got your business and now you're going on holiday and.
Yes, overwhelm also because I'm a person who wants to learn as much as possible. I buy a lot of courses and want to learn this, want this and that. And, it takes a lot of time. And for me, this 30-day challenge is now a good opportunity to get back in a productive mode, to do certain things really on a daily basis that produce results. Because all the time learning don't bring you the money into your pocket. It's good. It's important that you learn new skills. It's important that you get better in writing emails or writing blog posts. But it's also important that you do the money-producing activities. And that was especially in the last few months not so the case. I was not so productive in creating money from my business. I was more productive behind the scene. I did a lot behind the scene to reorganize my whole homepage and so on to get more focused on certain things. So that's also more clear what's all about on my page. But now with this challenge, I thought that's now the right moment to get back on track to do the things that brings the most for the business.
Yeah, we do. We rationalize. Like if I get lazy, I'll sit there and redesign my whole website. That doesn't do me any good. So I'll sit back there and I'll move this and I'll move this and I'll move that, and it doesn't really do me any good. But I'm like, well, I'm doing something. No, I'm not. I'm just wasting time. So you're right. It is a good opportunity to get back into a productive mode and start developing those productive skills, which I sometimes go on like after I got back from that live event, I went on a spree for like 10 days. I was making videos, and then I was like, that's a lot of work. No kidding. It's supposed to be a lot of work. I mean, it's a business. So, and those are the skills that make our businesses grow. Those are the things that we do as marketers is create conversations that other people want to join, and then eventually get them over to a place where you can build a relationship with them, and then eventually they'll trust you, like you, and know you enough to actually buy something from you. That's a pretty simple business model, but it's hard work.
Right.
So I think we're at about an hour now. So I'm glad we got. And Sandra mentioned to me that she had an opposing view, which I was very interested to hear. And I mean, it makes a ton of sense. I mean, it's really good, especially if you're not ready to be committed, or you're not ready. You're not at that point in your journey to take on a certain challenge. You can't run 10K unless you know you've run 5. You can't run 5 unless you run 2. So don't just run 10. I mean, some people can, and some people do it all the time, but some people can't. So this is that's a good lesson in overwhelm, is that when you take on too much, you're actually destroying your business, not helping your business. So Bruno, we're going to wrap this up. Where do people find you? What's your website, and how do people get in contact with you if they want to get in touch with you?
My website is Bruno-Burgi, BUERGI.com.
BrunoBurgi.com, okay?
Yes, Bruno-Burgi.com.
Okay, awesome. I'll put that on our...
Also, of course, on Facebook.
Yeah. Are you doing G Plus yet?
Yes, I'm also on G+.
Okay, cool. Awesome. And that's all just under your name?
Yes, all under my name.
Good, cool. Well, where are you going hiking next week? Is it in Switzerland?
Switzerland, yes. But as I said, weather forecast is not so good, and we have to decide what we want to do next week.
Oh, yeah. Stay home and work. Come on.
Yeah. It could be that we say, okay, we stay at home, and
yeah. They call that a staycation. They call that a staycation in America.
Yeah.
Leslie, any last words, and where do people come to find you?
Yeah, you can find us on most of the social media sites, G+, Twitter, Facebook, Pinterest, and our website is www.leslieandjadelawler.com. And my last words would be don't overwhelm yourself with a lot of all these challenges. Just take one of them on if you feel you're ready. If you don't, there's going to be lots and lots of opportunities. Been so many opportunities and we've only been around for 5 months, but there is so many opportunities on the web to start to do any challenge if you want to. So there's always going to be many opportunities. So don't feel obliged to commit yourself to things that you're not ready for.
Cool. Awesome.
Over and out.
Awesome. Sandra, I really appreciate your opposing view. Your opposing view to the challenge. It really is. It's something you don't hear. A lot of people are like, oh, it's a great way to build your business. It's a great way to burst out. It's a great way to break out. But like you said, some people are having breakdowns because of it, and maybe that person learned a little bit and was like, okay, now I have to back off a little bit. Obviously everything has a lesson, and that was their lesson was, okay, I have to back off a little bit. But any last words, and how do people get a hold of you?
Yeah, you can get a hold of me by just searching my name, Sandra Lemming, or you can find me at onestopallyshop.com. I'm on all the social media sites, preferably G+ is where I hang out most of the time these days because it links with my website. It's more beneficial. It's a money productive process. I would say avoid overwhelm. When you're starting a business, focus on the fact of the reasons why you started the business. The reason why you started the business was probably so you could give up the job that you have, which would mean that your business would be making enough money to replace the money that you were earning in your job. And the reason you are doing it online is because you want a business that's going to replace your current income and give you more time probably to go on holidays, spend with your family, I don't know, whatever it is. So my last words to you would be, when you start an online business, pick one thing, choose one thing that is a money producing activity and run with it, roll with it, and stick with it. Don't take on 1,000,001 challenges that you don't need. Just, go with your business system, stick with your business plan, and do money producing activity, things that will give value back to society, give value back to the people who are coming to your business, and also help you, replace the income that you have in your job that you want to get rid of so you can have more time. That would be my takeaway from all of this for people is, avoid the negative side of challenges, which is taking on too many just because everybody else is doing it and you think that you have to. You don't. That's great.
That's great advice. Perfect advice, actually. Which leaves me giving no advice because that's kind of what I was going to say. But that makes a ton of sense. Avoid getting yourself too caught up in what everybody else is doing if you're not ready to do that yet. And I know we've beat that in already. I've said it a couple times. We've all said it. And Leslie just bailed on us. But just avoid getting too overwhelmed, avoid getting into too many problems, because eventually that does take over, like Sandra said. You end up breaking down and you end up quitting because you think that it's just too impossible to do all those things. And you're right. It is too impossible to do all the things. So focus on the things you're good at, run with those like Sandra said, and I think you'll be great and you'll find exactly what you need to do. If you need to get a hold of me, I'm at parttimebusinessbuilder.com. I'm online. I'm on Facebook. I'm on G+. Thank you, Sandra, for that. I'm on Twitter. And I'm all over the place, so you can find me, get in touch with me, figure out how you would like to meet up. We could chat. We could Skype, whatever you want. So, again, I appreciate everybody coming out. Thank you, Bruno, for coming out. I appreciate it. Thank you, Sandra, for coming out. And Leslie, thank you for coming out, even though you disappeared early on us. We'll talk soon. Have a great trip next week, Bruno, and I look forward to reading some of your blog posts and seeing how your English improves. And you're doing great. So. All right, guys, thanks a lot. Have a great day, and we'll see you next week.
Yeah.